Welcome to our channel, where every week we bring to you a new synthetic tale read to you by AI. Each story filled with twists and turns, excitement and adventure. Whether you're in the mood for a heartwarming romance, a spine-tingling thriller, or a magical fantasy, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and let us transport you to a world of endless possibilities. Now let's begin.
The Heart of the Mountain, a battle for glory. Once upon a time, there was a group of adventurers named Eren, Kale, Nara, and Tormag. They were seasoned warriors, each with their own unique set of skills and strengths. Eren was a nimble archer, with an eye for detail and a steady hand. Kale was a formidable swordsman, with a powerful build and an unrelenting spirit. Nara was a wizard of exceptional talent, with a deep understanding of the arcane arts. Tormag was a berserker, with a fury that was unmatched in battle. Together, they were known for their bravery and cunning, and their exploits had earned them a reputation as some of the greatest adventurers in the land. The group had been hired by a small village in the east. The villagers were being terrorized by a horde of hobgoblins, and they were desperate for help. Hobgoblins were vicious creatures, known for their love of violence and destruction. They were massive, with razor-sharp teeth and claws that glinted in the dim light. They were well-armed, and their attacks on the village had left a trail of destruction in their wake. The villagers were too small and defenseless to retrieve the artifact themselves, so they called upon the adventurers for help. The group set out on their journey, fully aware of the danger that lay ahead. They traveled for days, braving harsh terrain and overcoming obstacles. The forest was thick and tangled, with vines and branches that threatened to trip them up at every turn. The air was thick with the sound of insects, the rustling of leaves, and the occasional howl of a distant predator. The adventurers pressed on, their senses heightened by the danger that surrounded them. Finally, they reached the hobgoblin's lair. The entrance was a massive cave, with jagged rocks that jutted out from the sides. The air was thick with the stench of death and decay, and the adventurers could hear the sound of hobgoblins snarling and growling in the distance. They steeled themselves for battle and stepped into the cave. The hobgoblins were waiting for them, their weapons at the ready. They were massive, with razor-sharp teeth and claws that glinted in the dim light. The adventurers could see the hatred in their eyes, and they knew that they would have to fight for their lives. The battle was intense from the start. The hobgoblins charged at the adventurers with ferocity, their weapons clashing against the adventurers' armor. Eren was the first to act, her arrows flying through the air with deadly accuracy. She took out several hobgoblins from a distance, but the rest closed in on the group. Kale and Tormag swung their swords with all their might, their muscles bulging with the effort. The hobgoblins were strong, and their weapons were deadly, but Kale and Tormag fought with a relentless determination. Nara was next, her magic lighting up the cave with brilliant flashes of energy. She unleashed a barrage of spells, each one more powerful than the last. The hobgoblins seemed to shrug off the blows, but Nara was relentless. She continued to cast spell after spell, her incantations echoing through the cave. The battle raged on, the sound of clashing weapons and the roar of the hobgoblins filling the air. The adventurers were being pushed back, and it seemed like all was lost. But just when it seemed like the end was near, the adventurers found a new reserve of strength. Eren aimed for the hobgoblins' weak spots, taking them out with precise shots. Kale and Tormag fought with renewed vigor, their swords flashing through the air. Nara's spells became even more intense, her magic tearing through the hobgoblins' defenses. The tide of the battle began to turn, and the adventurers gained the upper hand. They fought with everything they had, and one by one, The hobgoblins began to fall. The ground was slick with blood, and the air was thick with the smell of death and decay. The adventurers were battered and bruised, but they refused to give up. Finally, the last hobgoblin was defeated, and the adventurers stood victorious. They searched the lair, their swords at the ready, but there was no sign of the artifact. Just as they were about to give up hope, Nara spotted a glint of light in the back of the cave. She called out to the others, and they approached the spot cautiously. There, in the shadows, they found the artifact. It was a small, intricately carved box, made of a strange metal that shone with an otherworldly light. The box was protected by powerful magic, but Nara was able to break the spell with her incantations. The adventurers approached the box, their hearts racing with excitement. They opened the box, and inside, they found a single, glowing crystal. The crystal was pulsing with energy, and it seemed to be calling out to them. The adventurers felt a strange connection to the crystal, and they knew that it was the key to unlocking the secret of the hobgoblin's power. They took the crystal and returned to the village, where they were greeted as heroes. The villagers were overjoyed, and they thanked the adventurers for their bravery. They asked the adventurers what they had found in the hobgoblin's lair, and the adventurers told them of the crystal. The villagers were amazed, and they declared that the crystal was a powerful artifact, known as the Heart of the Mountain. It was said that whoever held the heart of the mountain would be granted great power and prosperity. The adventurers were hailed as heroes, and their names were remembered for generations to come. They went on to have many more adventures, but the battle against the hobgoblins remained one of the most intense and bloody battles of their careers. And even though they never fully understood the true power of the Heart of the Mountain, they knew that they had accomplished something truly great that day.
And that's the end of the story. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching Synthetic Tales, the AI storyteller. We'll be back soon with another story. Until then, farewell.